95 Country, that is Nate Smith, Whiskey on You. I am joined right now by Molly, and what a fantastic Tuesday it is. Hello.
Hi, how are y'all?
Pretty good. Last night's episode was super exciting.
Yes.
I am ready to dive in and talk about it. So for the preheat, it was a blind date mashup.
Yes.
I just want you to know you were hilarious in this part of it.
What did I do?
We're going to get to that.
I don't even remember.
Oh, no, we're going to get to that. But I was cracking up. So, okay, talk about what you had to do. You had to, make a mashup between a Boston cream pie and a macaroon.
Yes, not macaron, macaroon. So that's the coconut thing. But yes, so I was, of course, last on my run. And so I got left with Boston cream pie and macaroon, excuse me. Listen, I almost messed up again. And so I had to figure out how to put those two together to make one dessert. So at first I really wanted it to be kind of like a pie. Like a Boston cream pie, you know what I mean, in quotations. And then I was gonna have like I almost want to say macaron every time.
Sorry.
Macaroon, coconut shell, and then I wanted to fill it with the Boston cream pie flavors. So now hindsight is 2020, because had I would have known about this challenge beforehand, I would have done a different recipe for macaroon. Because there's different versions. And once again, my French training is screwing me, I'm telling you, because the French macaron recipe I had didn't work out because it's not fast. This French macaroon recipe wasn't good because it's not the kind that's like almost like a drop cookie, because there's a drop cookie version where it's more stable and kind of thick. This is like a batter, and so you have to put it in a mold. And at the time, I really wasn't thinking about that. And I was like, how am I going to do this pie in a mold? I really need to form it. So once I realized that my recipe was different, I was like, okay, no, I gotta pivot. I gotta think of something else. So that's when I came up with doing a donut shape of it, and kind of doing a Boston donut cream pie thing. And so, but then girl, these things just didn't come out of the mold.
we're gonna backtrack.
Oh yeah, back it up.
Yeah, we'll come back to that, because I know as soon as they said the challenge and it was Boston cream pie and coconut macaroon, my mind instantly went to the macarons, and I was like, oh no, Molly, no, this isn't gonna be good, because we saw what happened last time. But then I was like, wait a second, macaroon, nope, there's a difference, because we talked about that.
Yep.
But in between this, the part that had me dying was your conversation with Christian.
Oh, yeah.
I love him, and I know I've said it to you before, but I love your guys' friendship. But you start talking to him about a blind date.
Embarrassed him to death.
Question, did Christian ever get a date?
Well, people have been messaging him via Instagram.
Oh.
But the only problem with that is that Christian is gay and not straight. And so I think the ladies are confused. No. And I'm not going to lie, I was confused at first too. I didn't know that he was gay at first. So, I mean, he's tricking us all. Yeah. But I mean, it was so funny because one lady from Utah said that she's got 3 kids. Does he have an issue with kids?
Oh, that is hilarious.
And he was like, I'm about to go from having 1 cat to 3 kids in Utah. I was like, oh gosh, and turning straight all at the same time.
Oh my gosh. So did you ever help him set up his profile?
No, he was embarrassed. I had to hush, or he was gonna get mad at me. I could tell. I don't know if you could see it. He was like, Molly. He was getting so nervous.
The way he said Molly, he was like, oh gosh, Molly.
And I was like, okay, lock it up.
Yeah, you gotta
cut
off.
it. Yeah.
So then they talked about you. Well, they were out. Jesse was asking everybody about but I didn't know. That was funny. You said you sort of had a blind date with your husband. You met him, and then he never left your side.
I know.
He just was like
he just stayed in my apartment.
There.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I had a better apartment than him. I think that's why.
That's
nicer 100%. In a better neighborhood.
Oh, Ian, we know. We see you all too well. Okay, so yes, then your macaroon batter was runny.
Yes.
And in that moment,
it's supposed to be like that, but I wasn't thinking about that.
Okay, so you decided you were going to do a deconstructed version. But my question to you is, why not just try to make the batter again? Did you not have enough time?
Well, see, because I didn't have a recipe for the kind that's like a firm version.
Oh, okay.
So say the way there was nothing wrong with the recipe or the batter for that. That's how it's supposed to be. But in order to do what I needed to do, I need to have more of the American style macaroon, which is different from the French version. Because the French version is technically a macaroon, but it's called a coconut rocher. And so it's different. Okay. And I just wasn't thinking about that. So whenever I had my recipe, I just had that one and I didn't have the other one. Okay. And so I couldn't just do that on the fly.
Right.
So just had to go with what I had.
So you did this little deconstructed version of it. I think your decorations were still cute. I mean, they're better than anything I could do. But
girl,
I know
that
you're
thing was
here
brown. The whole thing was brown.
I'm talking about the flowers, okay?
Oh, okay. My one little like gum paste flower that I threw on at the last second.
Exactly. Yes.
I had to have something.
I know. So you walk up for judging, and Molly, I just see like the devastation that, I don't know if you were scared, if you were nervous.
Oh, I knew it was trash.
Yeah.
I was like, this is trash.
You couldn't hide it all over your face. Like, no matter how hard you try, it was like, oh gosh, she knows it's that. So then we get into the, oh, Molly. We get into the comments, and Duff goes, it looks like a duck breast with polenta and some sort of jus. And
where is the lie?
You were like, oh no.
Where is the lie?
And I looked at it again, and I was like, oh, that really does kind of look like a duck breast, Molly.
Gross.
But you were like, hopefully it tastes good, And so we get to the comments, and they said that you made it happen. It's not a travesty. Oh. And I was like, oh, thank God. Like, that's good. And then I always forget her name, Kay.
Cartier.
Yes, I loved it. As she said, you represent for the ladies, and you with the straight look. Yes, kill the boys.
I know. Ooh, inappropriate comment. Violent.
I loved it. Yeah, but it was so good. So we get to the end of the preheat. Josh wins the preheat.
Yes, finally. He won something finally. Yes, he deserved it.
He did. His was, like, it was gorgeous.
Oh,
it was
yes.
Like Eclair.
Red Velvet Eclair. Yeah. Good.
So good. And so then we get into the main heat, which we're going to talk about in just a bit. We got to take a commercial break here on 95 Country.